Welcome back everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Boosted 2000. Today's video is about my turbo conversion. How to turbocharge a naturally aspirated engine, okay? Run on a low boost stock engine with stock internals, non-opened. Yeah, if I had £1 for every time I got asked this question, how did you do it? I would have enough money to forge my engine twice over. So that's how much I get asked. So I thought I'd put a nice little video together, drive out in the car, some clips and photos, help you guys through it, and hopefully that you'll enjoy it and bit of content. So stay tuned and enjoy. Okay, so cast your minds back, okay, 4 years or so ago, okay? It's 2024 now, okay? Boris Johnson and Mark Dreyford, everybody put us in a complete lockdown in Wales, okay? Due to the pandemic of COVID-19. I just bought my car blind from Scotland, sent Adam Bowler up to go and get it from Series 1. Got a little bit delayed, come back, enjoyed it. Wasn't what it should have been, 1.3 turbo. Come next Christmas then, started saving, putting everything by, got the money and stuff like that, started buying my bits. I'll go through the lists. And then one of the boys came in contact with me who had COVID, okay? So during that time, I had to isolate. I can't even remember how long it was for. I was pulling my hair out what was left of it. So thanks for Andrew Palmer. But anyhow, I'd already started a turbo conversion and it gave me a chance to finish it. So yeah, thank you COVID-19. And what, 4 years later, all these thousands of miles, I'm still boosting hard.
Let's get boosted now. Get boosted now for yourself, for your friends and your family.
Okay, so how did this come about? How do I plan it? How do I find out all the information? And how do I know what to do? There's not much history on the internet or on forums and stuff. I think I found something from years and years and years ago from like Passion Forward, where somebody used a Escort T3 manifold off an Escort RS Turbo, and they'd fabricated it to the RS 2000 plate that goes against the block. Yeah, with flange and stuff, but I don't know, mixing like cast metals and like, I don't know, it's not very strong. That's what it came back, and people had obviously heat wrapped them and stuff, and it did cracked. And then I seen and come across where somebody used a Scorpio manifold. I'll put a picture up of a Scorpio right now, a 2.3, like old school, kind of like a bit like a Vauxhall Senator looking car, and they use the same engines in them. The 2.3, they had the same manifold but different. Like on the R2000 you got 4 branch, and on there it's 1 cast piece, which is very similar to the Z-Tech turbos. What people do, they cut the bottom off, they put a what's it called, a flange on. So with space restraints and stuff like that, I opted for a T2, okay? So I got a T2 flange then off eBay, and off I went to Profab, local fabricator. I went to see James. He done me a solid, he welded it. I'll put some pictures up now, and I made my manifold. I had to blank some bits off and stuff, but yeah, it's good, and it's held up 4 years, touch wood, with no dramas. That's kind of how that first come along. I've seen people using OFAB ECUs and stuff like that, OFAC out of RS turbos, but they only get like 170, 180 and brake horsepower, and they were like unprogrammable and stuff like that. Spoke to Leighton in Sabra, and he was going to do something with my ECU to see if he could do it, but he wasn't confident he'd get much out of it. So I went down route of standalone. Spoke to a friend, James. He was doing a similar conversion himself, and he wanted to do into his Mark 3 Fiesta or 3.5 Fiesta. And we kind of like buzzed together ideas and all that kind of stuff. We found all the parts, which I completely listed here, and I thought, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to do it. I bought all the bits in readiness and learned as I was going along. And then I thought, you know what, lockdown hit, and as everybody does, lockdown project. Built the turbo conversion, go on the road, and it goes from there. But yeah, I'll go on to the rest of it now. But I'll get these pictures up and stuff like that, just so you know. and I'll talk about the bits around the engine bay as well to help you understand, okay? So, and I'm always here to help if you want to do it. This is a low boost turbo conversion, and I'm running like 244 brake, I think, at the moment, and I'm running about 12-13 psi, so I'm under the bar, do you mean? And look, it's run reliable for it. I got AFR readings, all that kind of stuff. Car runs well. It's travelled all over UK, been all different shows. Could do with a bigger turbo because on the motorway it constantly likes to boost, so it's constantly sucking. But yeah, over that, it's just all the noises, isn't it? And it makes the RS turbo conversion adequate for, well, it's more power than a standard Cosworth, I suppose, isn't it? And with being a two-wheel drive as well, you don't lose a drag through it. Happy days. So yeah, I'll get on with this video now and hope you enjoy it. Also, I just realised behind me, my roof lining is sagging its tits off. So we have a how to do the roof lining next. So yeah, going back to the turbo unit itself, okay, I've currently got a Garrett GT25 on it, which is just a T25 turbo, Garrett. It's off a Saab 900 model, and it fits perfect. I bought this turbo because I wanted to get an elbow for it, which you could get off the actual cars, the 900s, but they just weren't available. Could not find it. So I currently made my own downpipe. A little bit more about that later. But yeah, so the turbo unit itself is absolutely cheap as chips and ready replaceable. You can just get a core off eBay and that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's a really robust turbo. It lasts, it does a job and stuff like that. It's not designed or built to run massive power, so it's perfect for a low boost turbo conversion.
Get boosted now for yourself.
Right, let's talk ECUs. Okay, again, another crucial part that plays. I went out and I bought ECU Masters by EMU Classic. Okay, so for Classic Edition, I run a Bluetooth as well, which I run a little 7-inch monitor, my dad's old phone, which helps me keep the top of the CLT, which is the cooling temperatures. Check like injector flow rate. You can check anything. You can do a data check on it, data logins, to 0 to 60s, amazing. So that runs off a little Bluetooth module. I'll show you that, and that's situated in my glove box. It's completely programmable as well. You can do checks on as well, checking all the sensors. That is an absolute amazing bit of kit. And you know what, it's got so much functions. If I upgrade and put a better conversion in here, engine wise, or if I went K20 for example, or if I put a YB in, or if I built this fully forged, I would put anti-lag and all that kind of stuff, this ECU is adequate and a great tool. Okay, so yep, I bought this. Don't forget, you need to buy the loom as well then. Completely build the loom yourself. James Badham, thank you very much, you done that. So yeah, so build a loom. You want to get yourself some like shrouds and some sleeves and all that kind of stuff. Don't forget connectors, all that kind of stuff, or soldering tips, heat shrink, the wrap tape, all those things are essential as well, okay? Because like I say, you don't want any dry solder joints, don't want anything breaking, don't want it getting corroded. Like I said, it's situated in my glove box, which I'm going to show you now, so it's completely accessible. It's got a lead come out of it, which just plugs straight into my laptop if you want to do some stuff. I've even done my own programming on it. Me mind, computer illiterate. So yeah, it's a great bit of a kit. And that is a must do. Do not run one of these turbo conversions without boost and stuff like that, and map sensors and a proper ECU, because what will happen is you just get cut out, or you'll run lean and you just damage your engine. It's not worth it. If you're going this far, get it done. There are others out there, which I wasn't aware of at the time. Old school like Omex 600, whatever. Dated now, not really. It does a job, but dated. Don't want to buy second hand, don't buy anybody else's problems. Max Mini do ECUs apparently, like through ignition advantages. Apparently they're absolutely great, and it's something I might be looking into for my RS Turbo, even though I've got a loom and stuff. It's just more modern. But yeah, ECU Master Classic, an absolute great piece of kit, can't fault it. One of the boys got one in his Escort. I think he's upgraded his now from the Classic to the black, or I don't know, but he's got like all the dash controls and stuff like that. He's got all the lights and gizmos, he's got the LED speedo and all that. That looks fantastic. Sure, you can do that kind of stuff to this, but I kept it as it is, and yeah, it does a job. But let me show you. Okay, so here's my little monitor down here. It's a Sony Xperia phone. And then down here, you got my ECU in the glove box, all secure. When the car's running, this boots itself now. It comes up already with ECU Master Classic software. I'm not going to delay this video. I'll pause it right now and I'll show you when it's done, just so you can see that too. So that's pretty cool and pretty quirky. So there you are. It should auto boot now. It's just loading, going through the functions. Check out the cheeky Pioneer old school head unit. I'm sure you've seen on my other videos. It will auto boot, but I'll select it now. You got EMU dash and you got EMU dash 3.
12 seconds later.
Yeah, it's auto starting now. You might struggle to connect, the car's not running. Got the hexagons and match the seat, absolutely perfect. And yeah, so look, you've got AFR, you've got different settings you can go through, which I've set up previously. Rev counter, like gear and stuff. And you can run a check on the car. So it'll tell you all your sensors are okay, which are absolutely great. And then you go back, you can do data login and settings. Great bit of kit, you can change the layout. This is really, really good. I love this, so it's ideal. I am looking at possibly moving this up to here and doing a bit of a custom dash and stuff in the future. But it's adequate and it does the job. Right, and just like that, you guys have a turbo conversion. So let's get in a car, everyone, and let's go and hammer it off the lights. Let's go and race everyone. Nah, not that easy. So some of us do think it's that easy, but it takes like one hell of a lot more. Okay, so let's have a rewind. Let's go back to basics. Let me talk you through that process. Okay, so there's absolutely loads to do. But to start it all off, right, get our car up in the air, get the front bumper off, okay? Drop the radiator support down, take your water hoses off, disconnect stuff like the fans and stuff like that, and let's pull that rad pack down, okay? Drain all the water out, okay? So you've got complete access. Undo your lambda sensors, okay? Let's spin them off, okay, out the way. Exhaust going back, okay? You need to separate it by where your cat is and stuff like that, so you got room to move. Get the car up high enough. If you're not on a ramp, I've done mine in my garage on axle stands. Adequate, plenty of room, okay? Yeah, get it up. Once the engine is hopefully still warm or a bit of heat, crack off the exhaust manifold studs, okay? And that's where your arse will twitch. I snapped 2 of mine. We tried welding nuts on, we tried heat. We ended up drilling them out, okay? I'm trying to retap. Went for helicoil. That was a massive ball ache. Before you strip any of this kind of stuff down as well, make sure you've ordered manifold gasket, okay? Because that really slowed me down, okay? I think the process like to do the conversion and get it running only took like 6-7 days all in all of me working on it in the freezing cold. It was snowing at the time, but yeah. So right, so you need to get that manifold off, okay? So once you've got that manifold off and you've got your fabricated manifold, line it all up, okay? Obviously get gaskets for the turbo and stuff like that as well. The plate that goes between the flange and the turbo itself. What you've also got to do, okay, right? Because the gearbox and start the motor on these cars are so close, I'll try and put a picture up. You need to rotate and turn the housing of the turbo, okay? So the actuator doesn't hit the gearbox. What you've also got to do as well, you've got to modify the actuator bracket, okay? So I currently made myself one, give myself an extra length on it. You know how you work preload up and stuff. If you don't, go and Google it. And then set my actuator and my wastegate up, okay? So that's the turbo side on a car. But turbo is also fed by oil and turbo is also fed by water. I don't run water on my turbos. It's an old school turbo. I don't need to. It naturally keeps cold. It's at the front of a car as well as it circulates oil. So oil and water at the same time kind of stuff. So it's just oil fed. So I went on to eBay. I had to work out the MPT size and stuff like that. And I bought myself a Mamba oil feed, okay? So that oil feed then, you've got to get somewhere that taps into the block, okay? So rather than drilling into the block and stuff like that, and going into like oil coolers and stuff, the best way and the simplest way, correct me if I'm wrong, okay? But you go into the oil pressure switch at the back of the block. So take the oil pressure switch off at the back of a block. Then you want to get yourself, okay, a extended piece in it with a T-piece, okay? So you can run the Mamba off there, as well as you run your original oil pressure switch, okay? I've got an extra one on now as well because I've got the oil pressure gauge in the car. But yeah, so that's how you get your feed. And you run that round the engine into a turbo. And if you need a reducer, if you've got a ball bearing turbo or whatever you seem to use, you need very adequate reducer size, which does come in the kit, okay? So that's really handy. So that's your oil in. So far we fitted the turbo to the car, and we got oil into the turbo, but you need oil out, okay? So oil then needs to go somewhere because the circulates around the turbo and it goes back into the engine. So to do that, what I did, I got myself a Mamba. It's like another, I'll put a picture up right now actually. So I drilled the sump and I put that into the sump. I sealed it, I made sure it's all like flush and stuff like that. I should have gone higher up, okay? So in my sump, I've put it at the bottom, you'll pick up in the pictures, where I thought I might get a bit of a smoky turbo because the oil will like struggle to get out of the feed into there rather than go up the top. If you know how a sump works, I'm probably overcomplicating this right now. But yeah, I done that. And I also had to buy an adapter that goes on my turbo where the oil feed would come off. You need yourself some special hose, okay? Normal rubber hose or silicone will just perish. And where it is situated, you need a fire retardant, a fire resistant sleeve, okay? Like a fiberglass sleeve. That again is really important. But even more important, you need a new sump gasket, okay? Because you're going to be removing your sump. And it's a bit of a ball ache to get a sump off on these, to be honest. It is a little bit tricky. And you want to make sure you got the gasket sealer and the gasket put back up right, because you want to do this job once. Also, before you do this, okay, a bit of a rewind, go back. You need to drain your oil, okay? So in doing this, I done a flush, okay? So I flushed all my oil. I bought a treatment in it at the time, and just drained all the oil out. Obviously, common sense will tell you that. I should have mentioned it earlier. But yeah, so that's your oil in and your oil out so far. So you got your turbo fitted to your vehicle, you got your oil in and you got your oil out, okay? So what's next? Okay, so air intake, nice and simple, okay? Just need an air intake. So again, I bought a flange that goes on the end of my turbo, because you need like a housing. Just run silicone up or run a bit of stainless pipe up. And I run myself at the time. I think I had a, oh my god, I can't even remember the brand of it now. Just like, it's in the garage. I can see it. Pipe across air filter, okay? So I had pipe across air filter, which has now been replaced for a Cosworth Group A filter, which is huge. On the original RS2000 or on the airbox, okay, it's got like a mass flow meter on it, like a, it's not a mass airflow meter, it's like an idle control valve, okay? So you don't put that back into your air intake, you put that into your boost system, okay? So then I got myself a set of universal hoses and clamps and all that kind of stuff originally, just to pair up and work out some boost hoses. You route them around the car, really simple. And I got myself a Toyo Sports intercooler. Once it was all test fitted and stuff like that, I went out and got myself some Michelob clamps. Highly recommend these, much better, stop things blowing off. You do need to get some various different size hoses, okay, because you need to reduce the hose from the throttle body down to obviously the same size of a charge pipe. But yeah, so then we've got an intake and we've got a charge system, okay? So great, we are getting there. Not too bad, eh? Hope I haven't lost you all along the journey. Okay, so don't forget the lambers and stuff ain't in the car now, right? I've got the turbo and I got everything done, it's all in-house. But I do not have an exhaust system on the car. So what I physically then need to go and do is prefab myself a temporary downpipe to connect to my exhaust. What I actually used was a Fiesta RS Turbo T2 manifold that I had spare, not manifold, sorry, downpipe I had spare. So I put a picture of, I cut it 90 degrees, I turned it, and then I bought myself off eBay a flange, which was obviously I fitted before I welded it, tied it all up neat. I'm no fabricator, but I give myself 10 out of 10 because this was perfect and held up. And then I think I had to put one lamber back in to get the car running, okay? So I put those pictures up now. I'm really gutted I didn't document this with videos as I went along because this is before my YouTube journey. But I'll now put up a video of my first start, which I done with my wife on my drive, in my garage, and we primed the oil and stuff to the turbo, and it's the first turn of a key, okay? And this was my kind of like sign of success. Sorry, I'll add this clip now because this is the one when I obviously fabricated the downpipe. The first start video which I showed didn't have the downpipe fabricated. Also, as daft as this sounds, okay, yes, you obviously put a new oil filter on. I put coolant in and I put 1040 oil in, okay? I did not run it with no oil or with no coolant. So yeah, enjoy. So this little clip is either the first or second test clip I drove. I got a feeling that the first test clip it was snowing, but like a day or two later when I had it running, this is a clip running on standard management, okay? This is running on the standard RS 2000 ECU, injectors, pump, all that kind of stuff. Nothing was changed. I actually drove a car around like that for like 2 or 3 weeks thinking I was the bee's knees because I had a dump valve on my Escort Cosworth Rep, okay? I shortly then went back down to Profab and went to go and see James where he'd made me a custom downpipe, okay? And I'm talking the work on here is amazing, it's fanatical, okay? He also took my cat out as well, okay? At a later date I had the middle box taken out as well, but yeah, it was decarted and he put the bung in for me as well, okay? So at this stage now I'd got all the bits ready for my ECU conversion, okay? I was just waiting on James and waiting on the right time to go and do it, and when I financially could afford to pay for the wiring to be done and the loom to be made, and as well as the rolling road setup. I'll put pictures up now of the downpipe and stuff like that, and you can see the difference versus my downpipe, which is like that, versus the new one, which is like that. The welding is absolutely amazing. But yeah, so the next thing that came along then was the ECU installation, okay? And then the car was off the road for another week or 2 weeks because I had to go and pick James up. He was currently up about transport. Ripped all the non-needed parts of the loom out. These Escorts suffer constantly, don't they, with what do you call it, fuse box problems, so fuel pumps and all that kind of stuff, injectors. I thought, do you know what we're going to do? We're going to do this right. I outsourced a little fuse box which is in my wing where the original ECU would have gone. It's watertight sealed, it's got fuses. We run separate relays in this. We run one for fuel pump, one for injectors, and one for something else I can't remember off the top of my head. So we run, oh yeah, the ECU. So then we run the ECU then out of the glove box, and we run direct feed back to the, obviously, the battery. The car electrics runs off the original fuse box, but anything engine wise runs out of that. So it's really simple to pick up a fault and stuff on it. And you can see as well on the breakers, on the fuses, they actually light up as well if there's a break in there. So that's really helpful. So yeah, so we done the loop. Well, say I helped James done the loop with his expertise. Got it running. I tidied it up a little bit later then because I wanted it obviously a bit neater in the engine bay. But in doing so as well, we need obviously air temperature sensors we need to swap out, as well as coolant temperatures, which are on a thermostat. And then when setting up the ECU master system online on the laptop, we got to work out the parameters and proximities of the waters and the temperatures and stuff like that in the air. So we had to go through all charts and all that kind of stuff and get them to work right versus the car. So yeah, after doing all that, we also put in like a Bosch Lambda with an AFR. So we bunged that into the exhaust too. To fit some of the sensors as well, we had to get MPT reducers. The sensors come from EFI parts, brilliant people to deal with. I did have one faulty one, and they, no problem, they just sent me another one out. So big shout out to EFI parts. I'm talking years ago, the guy is really helpful. I'm trying to think what else have we done, how we did it. I'll show you the bit that I've got on my airflow, on my air intake from my intake system, you know what I mean, which was on the airbox before, like for math. Some other bits and pieces we got to do too. So I swapped out the standard fuel pump for Walbra 255 pump. I took out the fuel pressure regulator and put a 3.5 bar one in as well, okay? And this is key, okay, right? So I'm running on this car standard injector rail, okay? However, I'm using Nissan, what are they called? Nissan 270cc. I wrote it down because I couldn't remember. Hold on a minute, let me go back to my notes. Because I've talked about it so many times to people. I used, 3 bar fuel regulator, Walbra 255 pump. And then I used Nissan 200SX 370cc injector, okay? But what you got to do is you got to use the Nissan injectors with the Nissan caps and Ford rings on them, drag seals, okay? And the part number for the injector seals is a 4-part. And I'll give you that because you do need them, which is EF9R593, okay? In doing so as well, I also upgraded the spark plugs, and I went for a NGK BKR 7E with a 0.7 gap, okay? I think that's pretty much where we are. I mean, I put some photos up to being mapped. I'll put a video up now as well of the first outing where we were road testing it. We had we didn't have a fire. It got really hot and we melted coil packs, because again, you've got to do this, you've got to wire your coil packs up, you've got to set every sensor up, and everything runs different on every car. If James sees the video, put the comments in, mate, tell him what happened. I can't really remember, but I thought we were going to catch fire. But yeah, we redone the put new coil packs in and stuff like that. We run the original coil packs. I'm not doing a Z-Tech conversion, it's not needed. But yeah, I'll get the video up of us road testing it. And then I'll tell you about the next part of rollers. So yeah, so that was the first outing in the car with it running boost. Not a significant amount of boost. It felt really well. Pokey, it pulled. But yeah, so it then went on to the dynos in TTC with Ash and a guy called Peddy done the mapping. And you know what? It was really funny, okay? So the base map, which we set the car up, it ran huge torque, but it was running 70 brake horsepower. But anyhow, here's the videos of it on the dyno. Okay, so it went in with 70 brake horsepower and it left there with, I think it was 220 or 226 or something. And I was running about 7 or 9 psi, I think, went in with 5 psi. But if you look closely at those videos, it what to do? It was smoking towards the end, wasn't it? So I use a second-hand turbo, which I bought off eBay. So the seals had gone on it, and it was just passing the seals. So I chose to back it down to like 200 brake. I was happy by knocking the boost down. And now, obviously, with the boost set into what it is, around about, I think about between like 12 and 15 psi, it's 240 or whatever, something like that. But yeah, that's it, kind of thing. That's the journey. That's what we done, and it took a while to get there. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't in my head. I got in a turbo car. It's gonna cost me 400-500 quid. It's got a turbo car. It cost like 2.5 grand probably by the time you've done everything and to do it properly. And now I'm on to talking about forging the engine, forged rods, forged pistons, a crazy cage manifold, a bigger turbo. Everyone says to me, go for a Mark 1 Focus RS or go for a Z-Tech turbo. That just takes away the fact of the heritage of a car being an original RS 2000, RS logbook car. If I was going to do this, I would have done it to a 1.4 CVH old Escort. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to flick you around anyway and show you some pictures under the bonnet, get some videos up and some pulls and stuff and some fun I've had in a car. And I'm sure there probably is way more stuff to talk about. And just to show you the bits and pieces that I've got on my list. But yeah, I hope I haven't lost you. I hope you kind of like this video does add value and you kind of get the gist of what I've done and how I've done it, because it's there to help you guys. Okay, so let's talk about some of this stuff. Boost hoses, which I spoke about, okay? A reducer, which comes off the throttle body. The air temperature switch, okay? Down here in the thermostat, in here you have an MPT reducer and different coolant temperature switch. Group N or Group A, K and N. Oil catch can, okay? So we are running this, which is like a mass airflow meter, wherever it is, or an idle control valve, onto a blanking plate with this, which comes off, which runs into the charge system, okay? Actuated down here, and the Garrett, okay? So that is then sitting on the Scorpio manifold. In the front, very difficult to see, okay? We have a SPAL slimline fan, okay? With again another one on the inside, which runs off a thermostat, just an 8-inch fan. Very difficult to see, running all the way down here off this plug here, runs down Lambert into the AFR. See if I can show you from underneath. Nope, that's not happening, I can't see it. Here, these are the Nissan injector caps, okay, which sit comfortably and snug down here, okay, with the caps and the injectors in there, and then running my seats on there. Also, we have the fuel regulator down here, okay, which has been swapped out all the way back there, so you'll take a rail out to do so. I also run a manual bleed valve, so I can turn the boost up and down if need be as well. I'm currently running a standard gearbox also with a standard clutch, okay. My ad hoc fuse box and relay is in this location. I say relay, additional relays, okay. Oh, I'm going to keep this one to last too. To do the fuel pump, you got to drop the tank. Haha, enjoy that. Okay, so on that note, we're going to go for a little celebratory. We're going to celebrate and go for a boost. So I can't get my words out. Let this car warm up and give it a right foot to it. and let's hear some noises and all the benefits of this turbo. Right, let's see if we can hear some of these pretty noises then. So yeah, you'd notice where I used to run a dump valve when I first done it, chav valve, but now obviously I just got wastegate charter. Hopefully you can hear that. Okay, so look, let's wrap the video up here, okay? It is not the fastest car. I do not claim it is the fastest car, nor is it fast, okay? It just makes a great noise. It's got boost, it goes well. Probably get dropped by your ST180s and stuff like that, your diesel Golfs, no doubt at all. But yeah, it's a great car. I hope you enjoyed it. If there's any more information or any more content you want to know about the vehicle, okay, let me know. It has been a minute since I've done a video on this car, so I'm just trying to keep the content coming, and like I said, hope you enjoyed. Hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.